Part 4: Why you replay conversations in your head and what it reveals about you. When replay no longer controls you. Have you noticed something? Replay doesn't fully disappear. It softens. It shows up. It lingers. Then it fades. Some people eventually reach a place where replay doesn't dominate them. The question is, what changes? Let's go deeper. When identity shifts, replay becomes powerful when you believe. How I spoke is who I am. Behavior becomes identity. But psychologically mature individuals make a subtle distinction. Behavior is temporary. Identity is stable. In psychology, this relates to self-concept flexibility. People with flexible self-concepts don't fuse mistakes with their sense of self. If you say something awkward, it doesn't become "I am awkward." It becomes, "That moment was imperfect." When identity feels stable, the amygdala reacts less intensely. Less threat signal, right arrow, less replay. When safety comes from within, a large part of replay is tied to external validation. If your nervous system believes, "My safety depends on how others see me," then every conversation feels like a performance review. Attachment theory explains this well. People with secure attachment patterns tend to interpret social mistakes as manageable. Their brain doesn't immediately translate awkwardness into abandonment. Because internally they believe, "One imperfect moment won't cost me connection." That belief dampens threat detection. So the deeper work becomes this. Can you provide internal reassurance, instead of outsourcing it to other people's reactions? When you build tolerance for uncertainty, replay thrives on unanswered questions. What did they mean by that? Did I ruin it? Did they judge me? But here's the uncomfortable truth. You will never fully know. The brain struggles with ambiguity. The default mode network activates to simulate possibilities. But people who develop uncertainty tolerance don't need a final answer. They can sit with, "I don't know," and still remain regulated. Research shows that higher tolerance for ambiguity reduces anxiety-related rumination. When you stop demanding certainty, the loop loses its fuel. When mistakes become data, not verdicts, this shift changes everything. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that people who view mistakes as information rather than identity threats recover faster. When you interpret a misstep as data for improvement, the brain's error monitoring signal, ERN, rises but falls quickly. But if you interpret it as proof I'm inadequate, the signal stays elevated. Replay continues because the brain believes the problem is existential. The moment becomes a verdict instead of a lesson. A harder question: is replay really about the conversation? Or is it about your fear of not being enough? Because when your self-worth is stable, awkward moments don't spiral. They register. They pass. They don't define. One mental model. Imagine your mind as a mountain path. At first, replay is a deep ravine. Every time you step near social uncertainty, you fall into it. Over time, with awareness, you build a bridge. The ravine still exists, but you don't fall in automatically. Eventually, you build a wider road beside it. The old drop is still visible, but it's no longer your default route. That's neuroplasticity. Not erasing. Redirecting. The final shift. There is a quiet stage beyond replay reduction. It's this. You accept that imperfection is part of belonging. That social connection does not require flawless performance. That people forget faster than you think. That most of the time, the replay is louder in your head than it ever was in reality. And once your nervous system truly understands that, the loop weakens. Not because you forced it to stop, but because your brain no longer believes there is danger. Quiet close. If you replay conversations, it likely means you are thoughtful, attentive, self-aware. But you are not required to earn belonging through perfection. You are allowed to be unfinished. You are allowed to misstep. You are allowed to exist without constant revision. The conversation is over. The moment has passed. And your brain slowly can learn. There is nothing left to fix.